We unite from the mountains to the sea, warriors of love, you and me. We are the new tribe of the...
Hey, everyone, you know what? We're dancing hand in hand into the new earth. There we go. I still got the music jingling. We're good. So, tonight, stewardship. And I apologize for my voice. Again, it doesn't like the air conditioning. So, apparently, this is just how it is. So, a couple of things just to go over. Reminder, if you don't want to be publicly possibly seen, please turn off your mic or change your name, because this is published on Facebook, TikTok, and Rumble. Please ensure that your microphones are off, because we respect one another while we are speaking, and there is zero tolerance for any disrespect. Children are absolutely welcome to join us 100%. We just ask that they are accompanied by an adult. And with that, I am going to hand the feather over to Chief Mouse Standing Eagle for our opening prayer. Chief?
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everyone. We're in interesting times, guys. Our politicians are going crazy. Everybody thinks they're exempt and they can do what they want to do. The Creator's got a way of bringing things into balance. And tonight we're going to talk about stewardship and the calling. And with that, I call on Brother Eagle to come to us and to give us sight, that we may see that these words may take beyond tonight and into our future and into the generations to come, that we become that difference for them and those to come. And to Brother Wolf, that we walk this earth and we do no harm, that we be a steward, do our part of this role that we play on Mother Earth. And to the Bear, for bringing us all together. One, unity is one, all nations, all tribes, all colors, all religions, working together on the commonalities, these things that we share together. And to Buffalo, those things that are sacred, that we may always come from heart and not let here take control, but from heart, that we listen to that voice of Creator, that we stay on that path, and that keeps us in balance and lets us be our mission as stewards of here on Mother Earth. I hope. Stewardship. I've been hearing this word a lot lately, and I am amazed at the way things are so woven, how they come together. Last night on Gathering of Eagles, Brother Jim and everyone was talking and listening about the animals and all of that, and I'm like, this is just so fitting, the way it all comes together. We're all here learning, and there's so much for us to do in this time as we enter this new earth. And so when we started thinking about stewardship, being raised a son of a Baptist preacher and being somewhat anal, I started looking at a few sources of what the word stewardship actually means. And it really interests me in various religions also as to what it means. But let's go to Mr. Webster to start this night off. Stewardship means to be careful, responsible in our management, protection, and care of something entrusted to one's control, such as resources, money, and this is what nailed it for me, or natural environment. Natural environment. If we're not in balance and not in harmony with nature, we're not being stewards of this earth. So Mr. Webster gave us the basic outline of what stewardship means. But in our lives, in living it, how are we? Well, we always talk about knowledge of the ancestors. Agriculture for many native tribes has been away for thousands of years. The Hopi, in desert climate, they've been able to grow beans and been able to grow corn. Why? They didn't listen to some scientists that may be testifying in front of Congress saying, well, you have to get this EPA approved this way. They went to the way of the ancestors in their plant. They dug down the corn to the right depth because the teachings of the ancestors, they carried that with them. They didn't go willy-nilly. I'm going to put me in a garden this week, and let's see, I'm going to throw some tomatoes here, and I'm going to throw this here, and I'm going to throw that there. What the hell happened to my garden? Because that ain't at all what I thought I was planning. You know what I mean? Because we didn't get down to understanding, to the knowing. The ancients, for thousands of years, has survived. And they didn't survive by being foolish, by being wasteful. They survived through droughts. The Hopis have always been prepared for 2 years. 2 years. Then we look at the other tribes and how they relate. But the Hopis, when they plant their corn, they make sure it's at the right depth. There's no rain. How the hell do you grow corn with no rain? Anybody ever think about that? And yet they survived because they knew how to dig, what to look for, that they got that hole for those seeds to the right depth, to the earth was the right temperature. It was below the cook zone, and it was down in the incubation zone where there was moisture, that natural moisture. And from there, Hopi corn does something that modified corn that Mr. Gates and him can't do. It can grow not just that far below the soil. It can grow up to a foot below the top of the soil. How many knew that? I mean, that's really crazy. Our garden's our responsibility. I just got up a while ago for those who just tuned in, and I walked out in my garden, I picked that. And that's kind of one of my small ones. I've literally grown a couple of them just to see how long I could grow them, and they like 16, 18 inches. And I mean like this big around. And I'm going to cut a couple of them, and I'm going to use them for seeds too. But there's what we planted. We used what we've been taught right here on Rainbow Warriors 101. Using those natural ingredients, using the rice water, using my coffee grounds, saving my eggshells. Found out that the shells aren't any good unless they powdered all the way down. I learned that from Lance. I thought, yeah, they're going to break down, they're going to get soft and all, but I didn't understand that the calcium and all did not break down until the other things come in contact with it. Everything is intricately woven. So when I planted my garden, I assumed a responsibility. And in order for my garden to be fruitful, it requires what? Stewardship. Care, love, and nature for the garden. Going out there and de-weeding. And by the way, I've been pulling cucumbers all summer long, and this is no joke. I only got 2 plants. I bet you I have got at least 15 to 20 flowers on that cucumber right now, and that plant just keeps giving. Just keeps giving. I got me another batch of onion tea over there, and I was going to do some rice water, but I found out I need to go buy another box of rice. But all those little things make a difference. And that's giving back. That is being a steward to those plants. Because they are living. They are spiritual beings, whether we realize it or not. They use that electrical current just like we do that makes our heart beat. And when we realize that, and accept that. In the native world, stewardship has been taught for generation after generation. And sadly, when America was colonized, many things changed. The buffalo herds, they were massacred and just about wiped out. And thankfully now, we have tribes around the country that are all working to make changes. The buffalo, the Blackfeet now have some 50 plus herds. Now, Michelle, we were talking about animals and how things have changed and why some things work and don't work. And when Jim and them was talking last night, it hit me. And then when you brought it up today, the buffalo are natural. They don't stay in one spot and graze until there's nothing there any longer. They move, they migrate, and they move. However, our European farmers, what did they do? They decided to put fences in, put all the cows in one place, and what happens to the pasture?
One thing, Chief, that's really nice is, not all put that fence up and around. And some of them actually came together and they allowed the land to come back so that the animals would be on one side and they would do a rotation. So they understood that if you keep the animals in one spot, it's going to eat everything. And then they also learned a lot sitting with those that, were native to that land. So it was amazing, relationship and friendships and bonds that were built in sharing and teaching. Now, also with that, that also got passed up in the area that I'm from, the city that I'm from. They actually in town, in the river valley there, they don't mow the lawn. They got sheep. And if you go walking on the path, I'm going to guarantee you right now, you're going to get sheep poop on your shoes. Some people like it, some don't, but that's fine. It's green, it's fertilized, it's not sprayed, it's natural. And the kids love the sheep. It brings the children out, which is really, really big. It might just seem like, oh, they're just excited about the sheep, but go deeper than that. They're seeing that it's not a lawnmower, it's nature. They see the harmony working. And the kids will speak more of that, oh, they're eating the grass, and then it's fertilizing. That is getting learned. That is getting remembered. And that's what's really important is little things like that that we bring up and forward. And it starts with us, each one of us, even in our garden. We speak of our garden and, are you too busy to tend to your garden, to tend to those beings that are giving us everything? But you go, oh, I'm too busy to water you. Because Mother Earth, our divine mother, not once has said to any of us or any of our ancestors, I'm too busy to take care of you. So what are we giving to our mother, to the beings, to our relatives? What are we giving them? Because earlier, before we started, someone shared with us about how they acknowledged the plant. They acknowledged the plant, and that is beautiful. And guess what happened? By apologizing and going, you know what? Here you go. And it put the plant at the same level as him. The plant is now growing beautifully. See, in the circle of life, no one walks above, no one walks below. We all walk side by side. None of us are better And that includes the animals, that includes the plants, the fish, the waters, all of it. So being the steward is being true here. And the one question I ask myself, even walking on a beach, you'll see a lot of people walking by the garbage that washes up. And they go, that's not my garbage. Well, you know what? This is your home. And so I will pick it up. And sometimes I'll be honest, I pick it up really loudly if someone has just been not nice. But that's just me. To make a point, hey, this is our home. We don't own it. None of us own the plants, the land, nothing. We own nothing. But we're here to steward it, to care for it as it cares for us. As soon as we say, that's my plant, in that ego way, not it's my baby, because I call my rosemary my baby. Because she is. I would sleep with my rosemary. She'd be in my bed if I could. But it's not mine in that way. It's my equal. Because I understand that there's a reciprocity there. And reciprocity, responsibility, and accountability starts with each one of us. And that is part of being a steward and standing in that. Regardless, I'm not too busy because Mother Earth has never been too busy for me. Creator has never been too busy for me.
I
How
love
do
that.
you?
I love that. That's beautiful. But and you're right. The rotation and people have not been smart, and that's why I wanted you to come in with that part there, because once we start learning how to be protectors, how to use our natural resources, and to be able to take our barn animals and be able to move them through from one area to the other so that their ground is properly fertilized, put the nutrients back in. And one of the big things that I like the nominee people, how they do their foresting. Um, their area up in Wisconsin, I think, was something like 15 million acres of land. And after the kindness of the federal government finished with them, they ended up with some 200 and some thousand acres. Surprisingly, they are loggers. The tribe's primary income is logging and creating lumber. Would you believe they have more timber actively growing now than they had 150 years ago? Because of proper stewardship taught by the grandmothers, passed down with the grandfathers, the ancestors. Instead of going in and being crazy like these people that wanted to make paper and they planted acre after acre after acre and thousands of acres of pine tree. And you see pines. Then all of a sudden there's a fire comes and what happens to all the pines? Pine beetles come. What happens to all the acres of pines? Natural forests don't have acre after acre after acre of pine. They're mixed. There's maple. There's cedar. There's oak. And when they go to pull these trees, they don't just go in and say, oh, that looks like a nice healthy tree, whack it down. They don't go whack down a tree because it's old. That tree's old and it's healthy. It's still got a vibrant function. It's making its difference. They look for those that are passing. Their time has come. And they go and pull those from the woods, from here and from there. And it allows the forest to repopulate. I'm glad to see when we have discussions about the dams getting open and the salmon are now getting to go up the river. That's making a difference, and those salmon know. And some of them, it interests me, and I'm always trying to learn a little bit about this culture, that culture, and that culture around the world, since I'm now working with so many different groups. and you know, it really intrigues me, the different things they do in the bush. And I see that in the bush, that they had their fires, their seasonal fires. And then I go and find, and I'm reading that our ancestors, our grandmothers, they were the firekeepers. And I don't mean firekeepers sitting around a fire making a pot of coffee, y'all. I mean, they were the ones that went out into the woods and set the woods on fire. They burned the underbrush. They kept it clear. They didn't have problem with a big lightning hitting and the whole place going up in flames and it burning down all the teepees or whatever where they were living, because they were what? Stewards. They were stewards of Mother Earth. And when they came in and they would clean and they burn each section of underbrush, what did it do? The smoke somehow or another affected the salmon. I was reading that and I was amazed, and the salmon said it's that season. And all of a sudden they was ready to go upstream. And the cycle of life, and understanding that. And once you're able to understand that, we do become stewards. And all the argument about who owns the earth. In the time that we live, we're not going to change what's going on globally. But we can build community. And I'm seeing communities of Rainbow Warriors built around the world, where they go in together and they get land. Now, I had a friend mention about getting grants. You have to know how you're working, and working with World Hereditary. I'm learning things that I would not have normally known, just being a peace chief here in South Carolina and trying to help a local tribe. I found out about trust and how trust is set up to protect communities, and so that people are able to interact and grow together. Restoring. The only way that we're going to take back and restore and be able to walk the path as our ancestors is we build communities around the world. And I'm glad that I'm seeing this happen. So, communities where you come in and you come to stewards, you start understanding and studying the lay of the land, what fruit grew there, so that you would know what needs to interact with each other, so that you are giving back and not just planting a bunch of pine trees to be putting trees in to fill the land. You want to get rid of global warming? There are steps that we can do. Forestation. We have ruined millions of acres of land, and what has it done? It has changed our weather patterns, because all of these thousands of open acres, the wind, and what does it do? It becomes even more destructive. So in stewardship, I would encourage young people to study and to learn these things, so that as we enter in this new earth, we do become responsible. Now, from my Christian upbringing, I had to ask, who owns the earth? Well, according to the scripture, it says that the earth is the Lord's, it is Creator's, and everything in it, and all who live in it. It didn't say humans did it. It said all living. All living. This earth belongs to Creator. But we're placed here as what? The stewards. And Rainbow Warriors, we have a calling. And it is up to us to become the difference. It is up to us to teach the children. It is up to us, literally, to teach the children. Stewardship. You teach them, and they in turn, they will teach. So, as you sit here tonight listening, are you making this a better world? We have to be responsible. We have to do things right. We are accountable for our actions. And we're dealing with the actions of past generations. Think about that. If we are to sustain and we're to grow, then we need to follow the examples of the Menominees and the Blackfeet and various other tribes, what they're doing, and make it adaptable to your area, where you live. Globally, we have commonalities. And when we start understanding and we use these principles, then we all benefit. There's areas that are coffee. There's areas that are pineapple. There are areas that are other things. Native Americans was traders forever. Think about it. Up and down the rivers in the canoes, trading beads, trading furs. And now the Blackfeet. They have got so many buffalo hides and so much skin. I mean, so much meat. They don't have to worry about how we're going to survive this winter because they are being stewards of the earth. And we all have different talents. I've worked in the background for many years, and all of a sudden somebody said, let's throw this one out here and see how he handles it. God, I pray I make a difference, something positive for somebody. And I've heard from a couple to know that it has, and it changed. But it is up to each of us. And we all have a responsibility. Some people have money, and they donate, and they support causes. And that's wonderful, because they're needed. I mean, I think about Mama Ali and what she's doing down there in Miami with all the homeless children and making sure that those kids get fed. I mean, hundreds, if not a few thousand children get fed because of her efforts. Because she chose that is her mission, to make a difference. But we each have our own talents. Some are good. It's like when we were doing hospice. We had some people that was able to stay at the bedside. We had some people that would run errands. Everyone has a different constitution, but we all have an ability. As Michelle was saying a while ago, when she was walking along the shore, and here was fishing line and hooks. What child? What raccoon? What beaver stepped on that hook because of the carelessness of man? Think about that. And I got 2 trash bags in the trunk of my car. And from time to time, I get a wild hair when I see something and it irritates me. And I got a little metal thing out there that I can prog stuff up and pick it up. And I'm not a highway walker, but every now and then it hits. It gets back to stewardship and us standing up and us holding the line. So we each are all given gifts. Some can get out there and work and do things that others can't. Grandfathers, as Jim says in the Gathering of the Eagles, sharer of knowledge, support, and help make sure things come together. You know, it's like my business now. I've gotten so much older in my AV, I can't lift a lot of the heavy gear that I used to lift. And that's why the young one is there. But I'm teaching him a craft. He's learning a system. And in doing so comes what? Trust, accountability. And to make sure the job's done, there's something called stewardship woven into that. Don't you love how this weaves together? So Rainbow Warriors, here's what I got to say about that. We can sit here and talk forever, or we can get off our duffs. And when you see a plastic bottle laying beside the road, take an extra 2 seconds and pick it up. and I separate stuff myself. And Michelle, I think she's been on the phone with me a few trips up to the county field, and they got separate containers where you put the plastics and put the other stuff so that they can be processed. I mean, it's out there right now, and it needs to be cut back, and there needs to be better systems than the polys they're using. I mean, we should be using hemp. Last night it came up about structures. There's a number of different things. There's poly structures that's pretty fireproof that they're now using, where they pull in plastics bottles from the oceans and reprocessing them. In several of the countries, they're making highways from plastic bottles and all and reprocessing. There's so many other things that we can do in Africa. Hemp buildings, hempcrete. It acts as a good insulant. You can take a fire torch and put it to the side of some hempcrete, and it won't catch on fire. And they're setting them up, and the way they're designing them now, they got little water collectors, the way they're doing the roof, so that it collects the dew at the night and it runs into a little thing. Kind of like some of the boxes that they're using with the glass, if y'all have seen those. I mean, there's so many things out there for us to use, and it's up for us to be smart. So I'm going to go back biblical before I win this. Each was given a talent. And the master said, for everyone who is given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much will be asked. The master, and when he questioned the master, he replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things, and I will put you in charge of many things. We all given responsibility, and it is what we do with the responsibilities in life. Becoming that steward. Being that different. Rainbow warriors, holding the line. Do you seek world peace? Are you up for health? Healthier plants, healthier you, healthier animals. You know, I was looking at a creature the other day, and we were talking about it, concerned about what was on its face. So being able to see these things and have something in your heart, having something in your heart that speaks to you. Rainbow warriors, it comes from here. It comes from the heart. And when you come from here, then this here just tell you how to get there. That's all it does. The brain knows that when I leave my house, if I want to go to the store, I can turn right and go that way, or I can circle the block and go another way. It just helps provide us a system. But it all needs to come right back here. Come back to the heart. Rainbow Warriors, this is our time. This is a calling for each and every one. Everyone has a different mission, just like I was speaking at hospice. There's those down here at the rescue. I go to the cat rescue place in Aiken every once in a while. I've done a couple of functions there. The bird rescue over in Harlem, Georgia, where 15 acres of all kind of exotic birds. People buy birds and don't know what they're doing when they get them. And then all of a sudden they got something screaming at home and they want to get rid of it because they didn't think about what they was doing. They didn't think about how they was going to disrupt that creature's life. I got 2 rescues, 2 rescue parrots, 5 cats, and I never liked cats, and I got 1 sleeps with me. So you think about that. Who got the lesson? Who learned about love? Right here. Right here. And you know how healing that is? So guys, I hope you think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Stewardship takes thought. It comes from heart. And knowing that you're being that difference that Creator makes for all, for all that live here on Mother Earth. And to see those little cats, Michelle was on the phone with me earlier, and I got one here. I'm sitting here trying to type in and create a meme or something earlier, and I got one of them laying over here on my desk, just kept reaching out. Hey, Daddy, touch me. Daddy, put your healing hand on. You know, the love, it spreads when you go to your garden and you can see that and appreciate that. That's love. I honor and I respect that plant. I've talked to my plants. I'm crazy. And I'm appreciative of what they provide me. And after this sucker goes in the refrigerator and gets chilled down really good with some salt and pepper, I'll be really appreciative for what it does for me. So we give and we receive. And I'm thankful for the little things. It's not about $1 million. It's the little things in life. And when you're able to appreciate them and able to get back to those things, it makes you more appreciative of everything. So, guys, I know I rambled all over the place tonight, but I started looking at all these groups and I'm like, what are they doing? They're all stewards. And each of these tribes have their own thing. And here I am as a Rainbow Warrior Peace Chief looking at the commonalities. What is it that each of them share? What are they doing? What are they bringing to the table? What are their actions? And when you see that, it makes you proud and happy to be living in this time and know that we were chosen to be here. I mean, everything in my life has been so willy-nilly, but there's so many lessons I've learned. I was talking with Z about things in life, and I said, that just goes in a box. That's one of your lessons. You're going to come to it, but it's not that time to come to it at this moment. So all through life, there's all these things that prepare us along the path, and we're going to need them sooner or later. So, guys, I love you very much. I'm going to quit rambling. Michelle, you got some thoughts about this before you open it up to everybody?
Thank you, Chief. Absolutely. I always have thoughts. Always, always. But here's something that's a thought from the heart is, history has taught us to turn away. And then we decided we were going to wake up and remember. Now, if we don't take the action now and move forward, knowing what we know, following that inner guidance, who is going to teach our children? I, for one, when I lay down and I don't come back to this world, I want to be able to look back and say, I helped create a better world for the future generations to come. Because it isn't just about me, it isn't just about you, it's about those that are coming in. Now, we hear a lot on the news of, people complaining about this, complaining about that. We want this, we want that. Okay, well, what are we doing? It's time we move forward together in a harmonious way with all creation because we're not too busy. We're too busy thinking we're being busy. And sometimes we need to honestly, check our stinking thinking. And that's just the way it comes down to. Because at the end of the day, I heard actually the other day, someone said to me that us humans are at the top of the food chain. We don't got to worry. I turned around and I looked and I said, oh, really? And I kind of chuckled and I see Z chuckling, Sissy. And yeah, I did actually chuckle. And they're older than me. And they kind of looked at me like, what do you mean? I'm like, you take out all the humans, I guarantee you this planet is going to thrive because Mother knows exactly what she's doing. Are we supporting her? Are we creating discord? or are we for creating harmony? And that's what it's about. Our waters are alive. The trees are alive. And I work with animals. And I can tell you right now, every single one of them is here on purpose, with purpose, and willing to help us, willing to support us. But we got to open up that gateway. We got to open that door and walk through and remember that we are one with them. Sit with them. Sit in the silence. And the silence will be as loud as blowhorns. But you are in the silence, sitting with the trees, listening to them, listening to the water, not to have the beauty of its flow. Yes, that's beautiful, but you will hear the waters. You will hear the trees. You will hear the animals. You will begin to understand. And the more you do, I will tell you, I did 10, 20, actually about 25 years ago, I didn't believe that. But I am where I am now because Creator had a plan for me. And it wasn't easy getting here. Yep, we got to get uncomfortably comfortable and comfortably uncomfortable. We got to do both at the same time. So, really, is it going to be comfortable? No, it's not. Is it going to be worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And just like we danced in here tonight, we'll be able to leave here dancing as well, knowing that we did what we could and we shared and passed it down. I don't plant a tree for me to sit under. I planted a tree for the next generations to sit under. And that is all I have to say this evening, because I really want to hear what each of you feel stepping into that stewardship is for you. And it entails a lot, but it's baby steps. So with that, I am going to call upon Jim.
Thank you, sister. Thanks, Mel. Great words, too. Yeah, wow. You guys touched on so much there. I want to go back to the beginning and what our ancestors taught us about being stewards of the land, using the land responsibly. It wasn't really them. What they were good at, what they learned, what they paid attention to, is they listened to the teacher, the mother. And they saw.
Oh, yeah. I thought you put that in the egg.
And Don's making eggs, I don't know. And they took that and they learned, and then they passed it down. Stewardship is an interesting one, and my advanced degrees are in natural resources. So I've seen a lot of different things and played different roles. Stewardship was meant, as Mel explained it, absolutely, to work with the planet, to work with all the planet's creatures, to make it a safe, harmonious place for everyone. And then that changed. First we had religion, which I'm not judging, I'm just documenting. Religion made it that we humans control everything. We were not part of the whole. We were special. We were above everything. And I don't remember the words of the Bible, how that's said, but it's to dominate. And that's a huge mistake. And then we had other human interference, and I saw a lot of it in the natural resource field. Stewardship became management. So instead of natural resource stewardship, all the programs became natural resource management. That means following our ego on what to do things. Those of you who live in the South, and Mel, I'm sure you know this one, but they brought in some plants. I mean, there's 100 stories around this or more. But they brought in some plants because they were going to stabilize some of the banks. They were going to stabilize so there wouldn't be runoff. They were going to make it so everything will, yes, the kudzu vine, which took over. There's no animal in Turtle Island that will eat kudzu line. And so now we have this huge mess. And I have friends who, in natural resources in the southern states, they spend like half their time dealing with the kudzu and the other invasives. Some of them are beautiful. They just don't belong there. So that's part of, and Michelle, you're so right. I mean, we got to come together and figure this out. But we have to be willing to change dramatically, not just a little. All the environments of the planet are going to change. I'm in the desert. I don't even know if this will be livable in the future as the climate continues to change. I was on a call early this morning with some tribal people and some of the scientists and tribal people who came together to create an organization once the administration eliminated all climate change information, policies, agendas. They're all gone. If you look, you won't find a climate change officer anywhere in government. And it's eye-opening. And I knew it because I hear from people as I do things. There's fires everywhere. We are burning like never before. All over Turtle Island. Canada is completely burning. It's in South America. It's in Europe. And we don't hear anything. And yes, we'll have to play the hand that we have. But it's not the end of the world. And I always appreciate when Mel talks. It's all a starting point. Will we be able to put everything back the way it was? Hell no. And we don't want to. Some of it, no. But there's a lot we can still do. And the salmon are a great example. It's 3 times as good as they expected in the first 2 years. And now 2 more rivers, the L and what's the other one? The Blue, I think. They've taken those over as well. So we can take steps, and we do. Even those simple things are so important. Like you guys, I carry a bag with me all the time. I can't hike much anymore because my knees have gotten too old. But I'll stop and I'll go fill it up. And like Michelle, if I see somebody doing something, I'm not afraid to speak. I won't do it nasty. I'll just say, why are you doing this? Do you realize this stands here forever? When I worked in Central America, there was trash all over, and we were trying to help them set up ecotourism. This is probably 20 years ago now. And boy, I just couldn't understand it. And then we realized for generations, they would take a banana and they'd throw the peel on the side. 3 weeks later, that'd be gone. We're talking tropics. But now they had things imported. So they took a wrapper and they took the food out and they threw the wrapper on the side because they didn't change the behavior. We have to change a ton of behaviors. And there are enough of us now. I'm old enough to remember when we were a tiny number and we were laughed at and fingers were pointed. Some of that's still going on by some of the crazy people who are still trying to fight change and fight us advancing. And that's okay. We can ignore them. But we need to come together. I'm chief ambassador for my tribe, which just means no one else wanted to do it. But it's a great role. I go out to talk to all the different, and I do it globally. Like Mel, this is not about just here in the United States or here in the United States and Canada. This has got to be global. And some of the young people are doing it. We don't even have to agree with them all, but they're doing it. I look at Greta Thunberg, and I've watched her from the beginning, and I'm an advisor in some of the things her groups do. Wow. She saw it as a kid, like 17 years old. While so many people were saying, oh no, it's just normal. There's nothing wrong. So let's keep doing it. And shows like this and tons of others, including our other show, they make a difference. Spread the word. When you put up a recording, put it out there, everybody. You'd be amazed the number of people that pick it up. And I get messages all week long. Wow, I never realized that. Who was that person? Can I talk to him? And then I'll hook people together. So Thank you. Thank you for this is a great show today. Talking
Thank
stick in
you.
the middle. Sorry.
Thank you, Jim. It's absolutely amazing. And you're right, there's a lot of behaviors, but we can start now, absolutely. And coming together is what it's about. Sissy Z.
Good evening. Wow. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. It's my headphones. Jim, that was awesome. So, yeah, I think we're already doing a lot of that. It's alchemy. It's like we're doing the alchemy right now. And I noticed you did this before because I popped into your podcast for a minute now. And I have my children getting involved with things. Um, I've noticed something too, there's old ways, there's young ways. And we're not going to get rid of one or the other, so we're merging the two together, right? So this is how we're coming up with all these solutions. We're not killing one or we're killing the other, we're finding a way to blend them. It's like alchemy. It's harmony, but we're doing it with stewardship as our priority, right? Because stewardship is the earth and that is us, right? We are all of it. Without it, we're not here. So we're just kind of waking everybody up to that. And everything that we do is we're the ripple. And I noticed this. But yeah, if you have that confidence, that knowing behind you that, you're like one of us, you're ready to do this. And then you have that power behind you, like that knowing, go out there and practice. Practice makes perfect, for instance. This little area, I'm noticing more and more people are waking up to wanting to have this knowledge, to get these lessons. The colonized ones, they're waking up and they're asking for it. So I'm finding these little hubs are starting to be created. And I go out networking for my business. And little things like when I go to hug people, I say, hey, when I meet you, go left to left, heart to heart. And it's an energy exchange that way. It's true. You start being authentic with people, like actually be a steward with spirit, like behind your back, your ancestors, they got you. So just go and be authentic. Right. And I'm realizing it's grabbing people's attention and it's waking them up and they want to do this. Like they want this in their own neighborhoods. And it's kind of like pushing out a lot of the programming that's been set because people are literally waking up because of what we're doing. The tiny little things that we're doing and we're sharing. Honestly, I'm seeing it happening. It's happening around us right now. It's like this little hub where these kids are picking this up too. And they're the future. Like they're actually speaking up and getting in the front line. And it's beautiful. And like they're ready. They're ready to bring the old ways in with the new, just to kind of, they're tough little guys. They're like, we're going to fix this. They got that fire under them. And it works. And they're smart. I mean, the things that they're telling me, we gotta listen. And they're connecting to the animals because they still remember how to and the plants. And we're encouraging that, and guess what? I don't know. I don't know if anybody else is noticing, but something's changing. And every little thing that we're doing is making a huge difference. I'm seeing it right here in South Florida. Oh my God, the stuff that's happening every single day. My hands and feet are on fire. I can't explain the spirit and synchronicities and magic that's happening every day. That's why you're not seeing me. I'm too busy. Like things are actually like it's really happening. So, but anyway, I want to thank you too, Jim, Mel, Michelle, Linda, everybody here, Uncle David. Mwah. I love my family. Everybody here, like everybody's looking so amazing and growing. And Jessica's in here. Whew, she's a killer. You want her behind your back? Wildcat Clan, just everybody. Robbie, man, I don't know everyone here, but I've seen like in a year and a half what I've seen. Christopher, Denise, oh my God. Daryl, I just met you, but you're incredible. Frank. Anyway, all right. Thought I'd speak. I'll shut up now. Love you.
No way, sissy. Keep going. Keep going. We love hearing you. So, with that, does anybody else have anything that they would like to share? Oh, Uncle David.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day today. It's funny. I work with kids in a middle school, high school, and it's a huge area, a really big school, and there's a lot of responsibility. But one thing caught my eye because of who I am is they have two courtyard areas that are set up for so the kids can have, it's not all like a business type of atmosphere. They have these two courtyards, one on each side of the lunchroom, and I took one look there and saw all the weeds growing up, big huge tall weeds growing up in the flower beds and all around there. And I said, oh, I said, before school starts, I'm gonna I am going to get some potting soil. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to clean up all of them flower beds and around the small trees that they have out there. And I'm going to make that into a really nice area for these kids to go out and relax and enjoy nature, even if it's just for a short amount of time. And it was funny because the principal, when I told her that, she says, we're thinking alike. I had the same exact thought, you know. So it's funny how, the creator will put ideas in not just one person's head, more than one, you know, because that way not one person is doing everything, you know. It makes it easier when the creator puts ideas in more than one person's head, you know, and to be able to spread it out, you know, you can accomplish more that way, you know. Uh, so, and another nice thing is I don't have to pay for all the flowers by myself. She's gonna help me with the expenses on the flowers and everything that that I'm gonna plant in there. And we got the kids involved because she got a couple of students that wanted to come and volunteer to help. So it's good that, yeah, there are still kids out there interested in improving our atmosphere, improving our surroundings, and getting a chance to enjoy nature a little bit, rather than just do nothing but sit around and do this on their computers all day. So that's a good thing. I see uh, a good future in that, and as much as I possibly can, where I'm around all the kids that I'm around, I will promote that to the day I retire. Let's put it that way, and even after I retire, because I believe in it, and I want the kids to believe in it. I can't force them on. I can't force it on them, but I can explain to them why it's a good idea. You know, and what kind of benefits that they can get out of it. You know, and let them know that, hey, you get a lot of blessings out of doing stuff like this. You know, it's very beneficial, not just to you, but to everybody, you know, because I mean, who don't want to go to a beautiful area filled with nature rather than an area filled with a bunch of trash and weeds. And, I mean, it sets the atmosphere. Plus, I think it'll help them learn more, give them the better atmosphere they have to learn in. I think the better off they are with learning. So, yeah, that's just kind of what I've been involved with as far as that goes. It's not much, but every little bit helps. That's what I think. Every little bit helps. So that's all I got. Thank you. I hope everybody has a good evening.
Brother David, that's a positive energy exchange with that new life that you brought there. It changes the air. It changes the frequency. So even if they're not consciously aware, there's still that energetic shift that's woven in there. And that's beautiful, man. Miss Jessica.
How is everybody today? I hope you're all wonderful. Um, it's been a grueling couple of months, you guys, a lot of losses. Um, in addition to losing Standing Bear, we lost my great aunt and we lost our little kitty chief. He had FIP, we never knew it. He was a street cat that we took in. And it's just been rough. I mean, put it mildly, it's been rough. But my great aunt lived a long, beautiful life. Um, she came from traditional people in Florida, not Cherokee, but a lot of people tell a bunch of stories about Florida natives that, they're this tribe or that tribe, when really we're a bunch of tribes that aren't even named, or known, I should say. We know the names of the tribes, but, it's just either local knowledge or family knowledge. Um, but to make it simple, Calusa heritage, not Seminole, not Creek, not Cherokee. Um, and it's so weird that my individual journey, how I always think it's just me. You always think when you're working on stuff for your family, it's just you're going to affect. Well, me and my son and Nicholas submitted documents today. We finished them yesterday, but we mailed them today. And documents that we filed in hopes to help the next 7 generations. And the foundation of these documents are exactly that every child matters. And the really weird but beautiful kind of magical piece to all of this is, in doing that, I let the same, and it's 2 different AI programs that I was using to help me. I'm sorry, Chief Mill, but they do help when you have PTSD and you don't know what to say. I basically submit my documents to them, let them verify the documents or research them or the information. If I don't have documents, I just have pictures or information. Come to find out, they were able to dig up pictures of my 7-foot tall Calusa great grandfather, Horry Matthew Jones, went his whole life by his Christian given name of Bill that was given to him at university. And for the first time, I got to see his face. And he looks just like my son. And just like my son, a 10-year-old little boy taken, and they tried to destroy him. And this bloodline, for some reason, is resilient. It's like the harder they try, the harder they try to destroy, the tougher the bloodline gets. And it's like God said, all things Satan intends for evil, he will use for good. The blessings didn't stop there. It researched my family genealogy. The AI programs went back and forth looking at different documents we have, census records that the government has, It even went down the Dawes roll, check Dawes rolls. And we know that we're descendants of Clark the Explorer, but we never knew who the mother of Sobriki Clark actually is, and nobody actually knows. So he was born around the time Meriwether Lewis Clark was sent off to military academy, and Clark's memoirs of Lizette stopped. And if you know who Lizette is, she was the daughter of Sacagawea. And if you think of the parallels of this, murdered and missing Indigenous women, Sacagawea is one of the very oldest cases, being sold to a French trapper, forced to have his children, and then Clark helped her fake her death, and she got to go back to her people. So, what a beautiful journey, and the what ifs, the mystery, and, ancient mysteries being questioned, maybe. If that's true, even if it's not, even if it's just a story, the connection through Sabriki Clark helping maybe investigate what happened to Lizette, because I don't think anybody knows. And what if they actually try to answer that question now because of these federal documents? And the documents are there to protect children, and not just Native children. I want to be very clear. I am not registered. I am the majority Native American. It's all in those documents. I have a little bit of French, a little bit of Italian, a little bit of Irish. Everything else is Native American. And my grandfather, who always said he was Blackfoot, turns out could be actually Shawnee. Um, could be a combination, but Native American nonetheless. And it's just crazy to find out all these things I didn't even know, and how very possible it could be. And from beginning to end of this document, from beginning to end of my family tree, it's it's sad. The trafficking is terrible, but look at it being put into something that might help, or could be used to help the next 7 generations. So for that, I am grateful. And just please keep all of us in your prayers. It's just, writing documents like that are not easy, for anybody in this house. And my son was brave enough to write a 2-page statement. So I just really appreciate everyone here. And thank you, Chief Mel. We need to endure for the next 7 generations.
Thank you so much, Jessica, for sharing. That is beautiful. And wow, you know, wow. That's pretty much what I've got to say. That is courage and strength to share that and to go and do that for the next 7 generations, for all children. Thank you. Christopher.
Hello, everybody. I'm just gonna touch a little bit about something that Chief Mel was talking about earlier about the housing. I put a link in the chat already about a fellow named Nader Khalili, and he's Iranian and American, and he teaches or taught at the Caltech University, and he has come up with a system for what he calls ceramic housing, and it's basically just adobe housing, but he baked it for 24 hours with a burner that they built, and it solidifies the entire thing into a solid block. It's basically a kiln, is what it is. And this type of housing, of course, it's not legal to build them because they didn't pass the fire safety uh, protocols, is what they said. Um, but they will last for thousands of years. I think the only way that to destroy it would be if the planet actually opened up and swallowed. Um, so with all these fires that's going on and the climate change, we just have to look at a new way to build our structures for the future. These also go into hempcrete. He did hempcrete structures as well, which is very strong. I don't know if it would last as long as a ceramic house, but one of the main factors of it is the thickness of the walls produces like a solar passive effect, where the heat from the outside never penetrates the inside, and vice versa, going backwards for whatever atmosphere you produce on the inside, which can be done very efficiently and very inexpensive uh, to to produce. Uh, that, along with the stewardship, there's, which I just found out, many different types of stewardship. Uh, but basically, there's one that covers everything on the planet, from the sea to sound in the sea. I know that's a big thing going on right now. The government wants to push high frequency sounds through the waters of the seas, which is going to destroy a lot of things. Um, Also, they are getting ready to start mining the sea floor, which is loaded with minerals. Every mineral that we mine on land now is under the sea, on the sea floor, in concentrations that are have not been found above the surface, and it comes from the volcanic action under the sea, pushing up plumes in these hot zones, and all the minerals just form these plumes in the on the sea floor. They have the equipment to go down, which is 3 levels down under the sea. So the the different flows of the water keep it down there. But what they're going to mess with when they start mining, it hasn't started yet, as far as I know. But it is going to. They're trying to push it fast. So if anybody is aware of that, that's something to pay attention to, because they don't need to be down there doing what they're getting ready to do. Even though they say there's no life down there, there's definitely life down there. So as far as stewardship goes, I would encourage everybody to look into the different types of stewards that are out there and pick one and become one. Uh, and that's the only way that we're going to be able to form communities in a stewardship, because they're not all the same. And I promise you, there's one out there that will make you smile and want to join up to do. So that's all I had to say today. Thank you, and hello, and goodbye to everybody.
Brother Chris, I like what you posted in on the stewardship guide road, because these are all things that a lot of people don't think about these things, but we each have a different talent and different skill. And so for people to see these things helps create more awareness, or someone. And so we're growing. We're building this platform, and we're going stronger, and this is worldwide, and we're in that time of change. This is the new earth, and brother, I appreciate you and your input and what you put in here. And there's some really good stuff. I appreciate you, man. So anyhow, all right, Michelle, you got some closing thoughts before we turn this recorder off, ma'am?
I love you all. That comes from my heart. That's not just a thought. But here's also something else. Here's a thought. Is our words are very powerful. And our thoughts are also a lot of times in word form. So what we think about and what we say is what we create. So yes, there are things going on. My girl, I don't know if you can hear her, she's cheering us on in the back. There are things that we can say that actually are of a higher vibration, a higher frequency. Yes, acknowledge that there are things happening, like the mining, like putting things in the water that is detrimental to our relatives that are in there. Absolutely. We need to acknowledge that. We've got to, that's just the way it is. But where our energy goes is in what we're doing, in the stewardship, in that reconnecting with Mother. That's where our words and our thoughts go. Acknowledge that, move forward. Because going back didn't work. And we're here because of our past. And that's a great opportunity. We had great teachers. Thank you to those also. Brother Jim, he said it perfectly in a comment on the side. Thank those ones because they're bringing us together. So be thankful because we are stronger when we're united. I love you all very, very much. Yeah, like the sweet grass. I love you all very much. And that is all I have to say for right now, except for August. We are here on August 12th and 26th with grandmother Barbara Vitale, who will be speaking more on plant medicine and the ceremony and honoring. So learning to go in to that space. Some tips, you're not going to understand it unless you do it. It's something each of us has to experience. So grandmother will be here to share with us some of the ways that we can do it. There's many ways. She is going to come and share her wisdom with us. With that, Chief, I love you all. Thank you all for being here. And I think you're wonderful. Shine on.
Thank you, Michelle. So I hope tonight reminded us that we need to be more responsible for our actions, take more accountability for what we do and those things that are around us. That's the beginning steps of stewardship. Guys, I love you all. I appreciate you. I'm about to kill the recording and we'll open the room up for chat. But I hope everyone took something away from here. The video will be up in the next 24 or so hours. Please share. It'll be YouTube, Rumble, and all the other places it goes. But anyhow, love you guys. Be more conscious. Be more aware. That's part of stewardship. And that's part of our calling as Rainbow Warriors. Love you all. Be blessed.
Oh, we rise, we unite, from the mountains to the sea. Warriors of love, you and me. We are the new tribe of the earth, connecting our spirits, remembering our worth. First Nation standing hand in hand, healing the wounds, restoring the land.